we've went over the design portion, which, pretty basic functionality, but before we get into prototyping, I do want to touch on some of the more unique features, such as scrolling in the design portion. So for example, your app will probably have like a vertical and maybe a horizontal scroll. Now, how do we build this? Because if I double click on this, you'll see that I built these two little assets, and when I expand it, you can see everything. But I want just the scroll to happen within this page, right? So just like that. But if I open it up, we won't be able to do that. So the scroll has to exist on the page, on the artboard. So how do we build this? Let's just add a couple different squares. Okay, so these are just going to be my fake little test icons. And I want to be able to scroll through this horizontally. What I can do is I can select all, right-click group, and then assign, over here on the left, assign a horizontal scroll. But just a tip for you guys, I recommend adding a little buffer with no border and no fill, and including that in your group. So that way when you scroll, things don't feel as tight. So let's just sample this over here on this page. And let's get rid of this text. Pull this out a bit, and we'll place it here. So you'll see it hangs off the page, but we don't want that because when I did that demo, you saw it did not scroll. So I have to tighten that up to where I want it to end. And you can limit your scroll to just a small portion or the entire width of the screen. So let me show you what that would look like. Just like that, clicking and dragging, just like if it was my finger. And right here is my little invisible buffer. If I didn't have that, my scroll would stop just like that. Now this is a design choice, whether I want it to end there or whether I want it to end like there. It totally depends on the content that you are putting on your pages. Now, how do we do a horizontal or a vertical scroll? I'm just going to copy this here, select everything that I want as part of the scroll, and select vertical right there. And again, we have things that hang off, but we want it tucked into that page nice and neat. And these are going to be the limits of where we're scrolling. So let's just prototype that. And you'll see this is that little invisible bar. Things are going to scroll into that. So I can scroll up, down. And if I didn't want this to end right here, you see it's like right at the limit, I would add another invisible buffer that would sit underneath here. Or I can close this off a little bit tighter. Boom. So if I had like a footer right here with like my socials, I'd be able to put that there. So yeah, definitely like play around with this, see what kind of scrolls that you can get. But yeah, something pretty fun and more unique to XD and other app creation software. So let's move on to prototyping. This is where things you have to get a little bit more logical, and but it is very straightforward. You're not really making per se creative decisions. You're making logical, organized decisions. This page leads me to this page. This button leads me to this page. This button leads me to this transition, to this overlay, so on and so on. So once you have your prototype selected up in the top tab, you can go ahead and either select a page, meaning anywhere that that person interacts with on that page will lead you to an action, I should say, or you can select just a button. So this is my landing page. This is where the app is going to begin. So I'm not going to select any particular assets. I'm just going to click this little blue button and drag it to the sign up page. And over here on the right, you can change your different triggers. So if you want them to drag it or just tap anywhere. The type of action, I'm just going to use transition. Destination is going to be sign up. And there's animations that you can play with, but I'm going to do no animation. So prototyping that up in the very top right. Tap, boom. All right, let's move on. This is going to login is going to take me to the login screen. I don't recommend making a sign up page. This is a prototype. We're just going to assume the user has a login. Password, this is going to take me to home. You don't even have to drag these wireframes around. You can just literally use the drop-down menu. So I recommend naming your artboards, naming your screens appropriately so that when you go to organize everything and assign the behaviors, it's all very straightforward. So let's just do a demo here. Tap, log in. I'm going to select password, assuming I entered the password. All right, here we're at the home screen. Now, I would like to be able to navigate through this app, through this little hamburger button. Now, let's see. Let's edit the main component. I have it over here on the side. And we'll grab that. I want to create an overlay with menu open, animation. Let's do a slide to the right with an ease in and out. And you can play with the duration, how quickly or slowly you want this to happen, but let's go ahead and demo that. Cool. So ideally I would assign these different links, different transitions. So my routine would take me to my routine, or like my account page, saved ingredients, search and scan. Those would probably be two different links. But I have my main assets, or my main components, which we want to make sure we are editing the main component. This will take me to my routine. Search will take me to search. Scan will take me to scan. I'm going to get rid of those animations here. Sometimes you want animations, sometimes you don't. Just a preference. But that way, every time I click on my account button, this will take me to my routine. Every time I press on search or scan, it will take me to the search or scan. So I'll just quickly demo that for you guys. Hamburger, my routine, search, and ideally I'd probably add another hamburger here. That would take me back to home. Maybe put my account icon here. So let's go ahead and do that. Menu open. I'll just place it kind of willy-nilly here. We're not lining anything up here. And you see every time I drag this component, you'll see that it still has that behavior assigned. That's because I assigned that from the main component. So let's go ahead and do just a quick demo how everything is going to look. Boom, log in, enter the password, have the menu, great. We'll go to my account, so I have that menu, and I need to assign these their links. We can go to search, scan, cool. So there's a little bit more work that I would probably have to do, such as, assign this scan barcode or label, have this button take me over here. But otherwise, that's kind of the basics of the interaction. I don't think you guys need to worry about like entering text. Although like it is, oops, trigger keys. I mean, you're welcome to try it out, but totally not required. I think that you should focus on just doing transitions and overlays and making sure that everything links back to one another. So making sure your navigation is good, making sure that you can visit the home page, visit your account page, and basically get anywhere from any page. So think back to that heuristics report, think back to your own use with apps, look at how other apps do things efficiently, and go from there. So everything should be able to loop back to one another. Otherwise, I hope that all makes sense to you. I hope everything is pretty straightforward. Let me know if I can help you guys out. I do know that Adobe XD is available on the lab computers, but if you have an Adobe account, you should be good to go. Oh, and the last thing I wanted to mention is these images that I'm using. These are Adobe Firefly. So please use generative art if you need to. And this is also Adobe Firefly for my logo. So awesome. Thanks, guys.